Voter turnout for elections is often low, especially when it comes to local elections. Did you know there's an election scheduled next week in Albuquerque? Albuquerque's Public Schools is asking voters to approve millions of dollars in bonds to fund school improvement projects that cover buildings, technology, and safety. New Mexico in Focus producer Sarah Gustavus sat down this week with a community leader and the head of the Capital Master Plan at APS to talk about the bond request.
I have in the studio with me this week Kizito Wajenje, Executive Director of the Capital Master Plan for Albuquerque Public Schools. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Also, Reverend Trey Hammond from La Mesa Presbyterian and Albuquerque Interfaith. Thanks for sitting down with us.
Good to be here.
Kizito, I want to go to you first. APS is asking voters next week to approve a $375 million mill levy and $200 million in general obligation bonds. Also, C&M is requesting $84 million. What would the money you're requesting support in schools around APS?
Generally, the money goes mostly to capital improvements, to schools that are almost 50 years old on average and more. And this is not just the building, this is the technology, this is the fiber, and goes into things like school safety, school transportation, and charter schools, of which 85% of the 53 charter schools in Albuquerque do not have a public building.
Folks who may have not been in a school recently, what would they be surprised to see about the need for those improvements around the schools?
If you went to school 15, 20 years ago, there wasn't any talk about connectivity, about the internet. There wasn't any. There wasn't the talk about student safety so much. The concerns that you see now. There was the issue. We always had the issue of energy usage and recurring costs of running a building, but it costs about $52,000 a day in heating and cooling costs for the Albuquerque public school system. So replacing a lot of the old 50-year-old buildings, making sure that they have the technology and the tools for 21st century learning, not only gives kids good access and equity, and gives us comparative advantage and competing as a community, but saves money that would otherwise be paying for high utility bills, and that money can go into programmatic offerings and making sure we have good qualified teachers who are well paid.
I'd like to disclose to our viewers right now that KNME TV is included in the mill levy bond. The committee approved a request for nearly $1.5 million for equipment here at KNME. Planning for the show is separate from that business side of it here at the station. We didn't take that into consideration for this interview. I want to go to you now, Reverend Hammond. Why is Albuquerque Interfaith concerned about equity? Kizito just mentioned the word equity, making sure all students have access to the same quality facilities. Why is that important to you?
Well, for me personally, our church is right across the street from La Mesa Elementary School, and that school received bond money several years back that took them out of so many portables, put them back in better classrooms, upgraded the educational experience. So we want that opportunity for kids all across the district. The Capital Master Plan is a very fair and equitable way to make sure the buildings that have the most need are the ones that get dealt with first. So as opposed to it being kind of a political process, it's an apolitical process in that sense. And so sometimes the West Sides, in the 10 years ago, the West Side schools were in trouble, and there was much money moved out to the West Side to help build new schools. Now we're upgrading the old historic schools in the city that just need all that technology, so the kids have a great classroom, the teachers have a good place to work. It's just about fairness and giving our kids a chance.
Kizito, tell me a little bit more about that. How do you decide which buildings are the top priority?
We do a total assessment, technical assessment, engineering assessment, architectural assessment, and educational assessment of every single building in APS. APS has 15 million square feet, over 1,200 square miles. We serve about 88,000 students from 120 households. And in addition, we also serve about 16,000 kids in 55 charter schools. So we assess every facility based on a standard, life, health, and safety, equity, educational propensity, and we rank schools by their needs. And basically, the worst schools get the money first, and the newest schools get to the bottom. This way, everybody, we've been talking about capital outlay even at the state level, whereby in a political process, you get money divvied out to different communities. Here, we look at everyone based on their need and give to everybody based on the community's ability to pay for it.
And the need is huge. There, I mean, in the last assessment, there's $5 billion worth of needed repairs to get the schools up to, and this is $575 million. So it's a little over 10% of the need is actually being addressed by this bond package. And if it doesn't fail, then we just get farther and farther behind on having adequate infrastructure.
Do you play a role in accountability and making sure APS follows through?
Absolutely. I mean, we really study what they've put, and if something happens where the bonds monies aren't spent well, or they're not being spent in the order we thought was good, we will hold APS accountable. And we feel like turning down the bond isn't the way to express maybe displeasure right now with some things that have happened in APS. Vote for the bond and then get out and make sure it's spent well. Organize in your school. Get your PTA involved. Go to school board meetings. Those are the ways that you can really hold the system accountable.
Sounds like you're talking about the public image. I mean, last year we had a brand new superintendent step down after just a few months. Do you think that's hurting public opinion in this election?
Absolutely. I mean, there's a loss of confidence, and hopefully APS will make good leadership decisions, and that confidence will be rebuilt. But this is not about operating monies. This is about capital monies. This is about buildings, classrooms, and kids.
And how are you responding to folks who say maybe they've lost some confidence in APS right now?
We have multiple layers of accountability. Not only do we have a citizens master plan that goes and looks at the technical assessment and is actually the committee that votes on which projects are going to be on the ballot. That vote by a citizens committee is then ratified by the elected Board of Education. So the Board of Education really does not horse trade or cherry pick which projects to be taken. It's done in a technical assessment and a citizens committee that chooses them based on a criteria. And this has done us good over the last 20, 25 years, whereby we've had multiple boards, we've had multiple superintendents, we've had issues of governance on our operational side, but we have major layers of accountability to the public, to the community, and to the business community in terms of when it comes to capital infrastructure.
If the bonds are approved, are people's property taxes going to go up?
No, they won't go up, but we have a current bond rate that was approved, ratified by the public by vote in 2010 that is expiring this year. All we are asking to do is re-up that mill levy and have the same tax rate.
I'd like to end on voter turnout. Voter turnout is low in any election, especially for these kinds of elections that are not associated with anything else. The Albuquerque Journal reported last week on some concerns about voting locations around the city. Bernalillo County Clerk Maggie Toos Oliver told the Journal she discouraged APS and CNM from having the election in February. Why did APS go ahead with it?
Because we're having the mill levy come to an end, the approved mill levy. The schools have a $6 billion capital need. If we weren't going to have an election just because politically right now we may have some things about voter confidence, we would have had a year where there'd be no funding, where we'd have issues such as roof leaks and buildings failing because they've not had that recurring maintenance, and I think would have eroded voter confidence in our institution even more. If we can't keep on proving to the taxpayer by our record, our specific record of capital outlay expenditure over the past 30 years, which we have full disclosure, we have disclosed to not only to the Albuquerque Journal, but to the press houses and to our community. If we can prove that to the voters, it doesn't matter whether we wait a year or 6 months. At some point, we have to be accountable to how we spend public money.
And the truth is, this is the time when elections have happened in every bond cycle in early February, every 3 years. So this isn't like a surprising election for anybody. This is the normal course of when this will be voted on. It's just that these are expensive elections because they're standalone. And in terms of taxpayer money being spent, I think we should work to try to get the state constitution changed so this could be joined with other elections, city and county elections, and the cost of the election be borne by several entities and not just by APS and CNN. It's expensive to do an election.
Do you think people would turn out this year for this election next week?
I think they will. I think there's a lot of interest. And I think people are, on both sides, are raising legitimate questions and also legitimate needs of the kids. For me, if you're upset, don't vote against the bond. Get involved, organize, and make a difference at the school board.
We'll put more details on our website, newmexicoinfocus.org. Thank you both for joining us this week.
Thank you.
Thank you.